Okay, this is going to be a teaching about how to escape the double bind trap. And the double bind trap is one of the favorite tactics of narcissists. It's one of the tactics they like to use to control and manipulate people. And this teaching is going to be primarily geared towards Christians. However, if you're not a Christian, you could probably still gather some stuff glean some good information from it, hopefully. And regarding narcissists, a narcissist is basically a witch or a wizard. Witchcraft is control, domination, manipulation, and intimidation. And these people, they like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and expose this tactic and hopefully help some people learn how to deal with it should they encounter it. And for those that are interested in getting involved in witchcraft, I just want to warn you, witchcraft is an abomination in the eyes of God. You're really getting involved with something you do not want to do. Witchcraft is illegal in the spiritual realm, and you're just setting yourself up to get mixed up with devils, and it's not a good thing. So definitely not something you want to do. And on that note, I'll go ahead and read Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. It says, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." So what is the double bind trap? The double bind trap is basically a catch-22. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, where you're in a situation where there's two options and they both have a negative outcome. Like one example could be if you have a job and you don't have a vehicle, or your vehicle's broke down and you need to get a ride from someone to get to work, but that person that you get a ride with just really makes life hell for you, makes you miserable, and you do not want to do not want to catch a ride with them to work, but you really have no choice, because if you don't, then you'll lose your job. So you're stuck in that situation. You're trapped. And another example could be like the nation of Israel. If they were to not defend themselves, they would be wiped out. But when they defend themselves, then they're also encounter negative situations where they're accused of different things and whatnot, and they still encounter fighting and whatnot. So it's like no matter what they do, it's a negative outcome. Another thing that commonly happens when dealing with narcissists, which is another example of a double bind trap, is where they'll play the bully and the victim. So they'll play the bully, and then if you put up with the bully, the outcome's negative. But then if you stand up to the bully, then they'll flip it, and then they'll play the victim, and so the outcome's negative. So like no matter what you do, whether you stand up for yourself or you don't, the outcome is bad or negative. And those situations can be especially dangerous. It's really emotional abuse. It is the double bind situation, but it's also emotional abuse, because it really plays with your emotions, and it can put you in a situation where you're tempted to either explode outwardly or implode if you try to hold in your emotions. If your emotions might get bottled up to where you just explode and go too far, you might bottle them in too much and then implode and have like a mental breakdown. So it's a very dangerous situation, and they like to do this, and you got to be careful because you don't want to like explode and go too far and end up in jail or have a mental breakdown and end up in a mental hospital. So it's definitely good to know how to escape these traps. And there's really 4 ways to escape the double bind trap. And the first one, which is the easy way, is to just cut these people off. If one of these toxic people is in your life and they're setting these kind of traps for you, and you could just cut them off, block them, do that. That's the easiest way. But a lot of times you're not able to do that. Like let's say it's someone at your job and you need that job and they're harassing you at work. And if you go to the boss and complain about what they're doing to you, like let's say the double bind is like they're harassing you at work, but then if you go to the boss and complain about the job, then you're going to be seen as a problem. So it's 2 negative outcomes, and no matter what you do, the situation's bad. And that's rough, and I empathize for anyone in that type of situation. It's really cruel. It's like, what do you do? Well, there is something you can do. And I'm going to get to that. But yeah, I just want to reiterate the first easiest way is if you can just cut the person off, do it. That's the easiest way. The other 2 ways, there's 2 other ways. One would be is if you can get them to agree with you. And a lot of times these witches and warlocks, they're actually in a trap themselves because they're caught up with devils and they don't know that, there's a judgment coming. And so, I mean, if you can preach the gospel to them, get them saved, get them delivered, and then they, you probably won't be in that situation. So that's one way to escape. Another way to escape would be is for you to change your thinking and align with theirs. But of course, that's not really a win because you don't want to do that. We're not supposed to have any, Christians aren't supposed to have any fellowship with the works of darkness. So that would be abandoning the faith, so you don't want to do that. So the way you want to handle it really is if you can't, if you can get them saved and come to align with your way of thinking, that's great. That would be a good way. Or if you can just cut them off completely, that would be a good way. But a lot of times those that's not going to work for you. So what you want to do is the 4th way, which is give it to God and let Him handle it. Just wait on God to deliver you. Lift the shield of faith and give it over to God and wait on Him to deliver you. And He will. And on that note, I'll go ahead and read Proverbs chapter 20, verse 22. It reads, "Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Lord, and He shall save thee." And then Romans chapter 12, verse 19, it reads, "Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord." And then 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5 reads, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." And this one is real. This next one is really key. It's James chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." And that's really what you want to do to escape that double bind trap, is to submit yourself to God. Like, give it over to Him. Let Him deal with it for you. Like, resist the devil. Resist the urge to get in your flesh and fight and like explode on these people, like and get all emotional and all that. Just give it over to God. Just trust that He will deliver you. He will deliver you. Just submit yourself to Him. But just trust that He will do it, and He will do it. Just be patient. And then I'm going to go ahead and read Psalm chapter 37, verse 40. It reads, "And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in Him." And then Psalm chapter 34, verse 19 reads, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all." And then Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17 reads, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord." And then Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 reads, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of His might." And that's right. That's what you want to do. You want to be strong in Him and His power. Wait on His power. He has the power to get you out of that situation. And then James chapter 1, verses 3 through 5. "Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." And then James chapter 5, verse 11 reads, "Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy." And that's true. Job went through horrible attacks by Satan. But the Lord delivered him and blessed him for what he went through. And so just be patient on